The great chamber floated in space above a dead world. Through the massive windows, anyone could see the ruins of Valoria Prime below. Cities that once held billions now lay silent and broken. The war had done this. 200 years of fighting between the Veloth and the Drakim had turned dozens of worlds into graveyards. Today, the war was supposed to end. Ambassador Kieran stood at the center of the chamber, her blue skin pale with exhaustion. She had spent 3 years arranging this peace treaty. 3 years of talking, arguing, and convincing both sides to stop killing each other. Around her, representatives from a dozen alien species waited in silence. They all wanted to see the treaty signed. They all wanted the killing to stop. Commander Ravik entered from the opposite door. He was Drakim, tall and covered in gray scales that looked like armor. His people had lost as much as the Veloth. Maybe more. His eyes were tired, but he walked with pride. Behind him came his advisors, all wearing the dark uniforms of the Drakim military. The room held its breath. Kieran and Ravik met in the middle. Neither smiled, neither spoke at first. Then Kieran extended her hand in the human custom. Both species had learned it from Earth traders. Ravik looked at her hand for a long moment, then took it. "The war ends today," Kieran said. Her voice was steady. "The war ends today," Ravik repeated. They signed the treaty together. The document was projected in holographic light above them, written in 5 languages. When the last signature appeared, cheers erupted throughout the chamber. Some aliens were crying. Others embraced. For the first time in 2 centuries, there would be peace. Do-hyun watched all of this from a bar 3 levels down. He was human, which made him unusual on this station. Humans were new to galactic society. They had only joined 30 years ago. Most aliens still didn't know what to make of them. Do-hyun didn't mind. He preferred it that way. Less attention meant easier business. He was a cargo freighter captain. His ship, the Soaring Phoenix, was docked in Bay 17 for repairs. An engine malfunction had forced him to stop here. The repairs would take 3 days. 3 boring days with nothing to do but drink bad alien beer and watch the news. The bartender was a Torvin, short and covered in orange fur. "Historic day," the bartender said, gesturing at the screen showing the treaty signing. "Maybe now we can all get back to normal business." "Maybe," Do-hyun said. He didn't sound convinced. "You don't think the peace will last?" "I think 200 years of hate doesn't disappear because people sign a paper." Do-hyun took a drink. "But I hope I'm wrong." The celebration continued for hours. The station's restaurants offered free food. Music played in the corridors. Everyone seemed happy. Everyone seemed relieved. Then the alarm started. At first, people thought it was a malfunction. The station's emergency sirens hadn't sounded in years. But then the announcement came through every speaker in every language: emergency. "All personnel report to crisis stations. This is not a drill." The bar emptied quickly. Do-hyun stayed in his seat listening. He had learned long ago that running toward danger without information was stupid. Better to wait and learn what was happening. The bartender's terminal chimed. He read the message and his orange fur stood on end. "Oh no, no. What is it?" Do-hyun asked. "The Terminus Array, it's active." Do-hyun felt cold. He knew that name. Every trader in the galaxy knew that name. The Terminus Array was a Drakim doomsday weapon, built 50 years into the war. It was designed to destroy every Veloth world simultaneously. The Drakim had never used it. Both sides had been too afraid of what would happen if they did. Everyone thought it had been destroyed years ago. "That's impossible," Do-hyun said. "The Drakim decommissioned it." "Apparently not." The bartender's hands shook as he read more. "It's in deep space. It's been dormant all this time, waiting, and now it's online." Do-hyun moved to the terminal and read the report himself. The situation was worse than he thought. The array was a fully automated weapon. It had been programmed to activate if the Drakim ever showed signs of losing the war. The peace treaty had triggered it. Now it was charging its weapons, preparing to fire on every Veloth world in the galaxy. The estimated time to firing: 72 hours. Worse, the array had defensive countermeasures. It was surrounded by automated defense platforms. It had jamming systems that blocked hacking attempts. Its hull was reinforced against any known weapon. The Drakim had built it to be unstoppable, and they had succeeded. Do-hyun watched as the reports came in. The council was panicking. They tried everything. They sent ships to attack the array, but the defenses destroyed them before they got close. They tried hacking its systems, but the security was too strong. They even contacted the few remaining Dracum engineers who had helped build it, but those engineers had only worked on small parts. No one knew how to shut it down completely. The bartender was crying now. We survived the war. We survived 200 years. And now this. Now when we finally have peace, Do-hyun stared at the screen. He studied the schematics of the array that the council had released. He looked at the defense systems, the layout, the security protocols. His mind was working, putting pieces together, seeing patterns. This is stupid, he muttered. What? The bartender asked. This whole thing. It's stupid. The problem isn't that complicated. The bartender stared at him. Not complicated? That's the most advanced war machine ever built. The smartest people in the galaxy can't figure out how to stop it. That's their problem, Do-hyun said. They're too smart. They're looking for smart solutions. He finished his drink and stood up. Sometimes the solution isn't smart. Sometimes it's just practical. He left the bar and headed toward the upper levels. The bartender called after him, confused, but Do-hyun didn't stop. He didn't have a plan yet. Not really. But he had an idea forming. And if he was right, the council was asking the wrong questions. They were asking, how do we destroy it? How do we hack it? How do we stop it from firing? Do-hyun was asking, how did humans survive when we built things designed to kill ourselves? The answer was never about being smarter than the weapon. It was about being crazier than whoever built it. He smiled slightly as he walked. Humans were very good at being crazy. Do-hyun found Ambassador Kirin in a conference room surrounded by chaos. Dozens of military advisors shouted at screens showing the Terminus array. Everyone had ideas. None of them were working. We could try an electromagnetic pulse, someone suggested. The array is shielded against that. Another voice answered. What about a nuclear strike? We'd need 50 warheads to penetrate the hull. We don't have 50 warheads. Kirin looked like she hadn't slept in days, and those days had only been hours. Her blue skin had turned almost gray. When she noticed Do-hyun standing in the doorway, her expression showed confusion, then annoyance. This is a restricted meeting, she said. I know. I came anyway. Do-hyun walked into the room like he belonged there. Several security officers moved to stop him, but Kirin raised her hand. Wait. She remembered him from earlier. The human at the bar who had said the problem wasn't complicated. You're the freighter captain. You said something about this being stupid? I did. It is. Then please enlighten us. Kirin's voice carried an edge of desperation. Because we have 68 hours before that weapon fires. And we have no solutions. Do-hyun moved to the holographic display showing the array. He studied it for a moment, rotating the image with his hands. Everyone waited, skeptical. You're thinking about this wrong, he said finally. You're trying to fight the array like it's an enemy fleet. It's not. It's a building. A really well-defended building in space, but still just a building. A building with shields, weapons, and automated defense systems, a Torvan general said. What's your point? My point is that buildings can be entered. You don't have to destroy something to stop it. You just have to get inside and turn it off. The room fell silent. Then someone laughed. Then several people laughed. Infiltrate the Terminus array? Kirin said. Impossible. The interior is filled with security systems. It has bioscanners, motion detectors, automated turrets, and it's been programmed to kill anyone who enters. So reprogram it. Trick it. Distract it. Do-hyun shrugged. Look, I don't have all the answers. But I know this. You're all trying to solve this like it's a military problem. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's a puzzle. You're insane, the Torvan general said. Probably. Do-hyun looked at Kirin. But you're out of options, aren't you? Kirin stared at him for a long time. She was thinking. The room could see her thinking. Finally she spoke. Everyone leave except the human. The room emptied slowly with many confused and angry looks. When only Kirin and Do-hyun remained, she activated a privacy field. No one outside could hear them now. I've studied your species, Kirin said quietly. Humans, you're very strange. You survived ice ages without fur. You survived plagues without advanced medicine. You survived wars that should have made you extinct. How? Stubbornness, stupidity, luck. Do-hyun smiled. Depends on who you ask. I think it's more than that. I think humans learned to see solutions that other species miss. Because you had to. Because for humans, impossible just meant nobody tried the crazy thing yet. That's actually a pretty good description. Kieran moved closer. Can you stop the array? I don't know, maybe, if you give me a chance. What do you need? A team, not soldiers. I need people who can think sideways. People who can adapt, and I need access to whatever resources you have. Done. Just like that? Kieran's expression was haunted. Do you know what happens if the array fires? It doesn't just destroy Veloth worlds. It triggers automatic retaliation protocols. Every Drakim world will be destroyed in response. Then other species will get pulled into the fighting. The entire galaxy will burn. So yes, just like that. If there's even a small chance you can stop this, I'll give you whatever you need. Do-hyun nodded slowly. Okay, first I need my co-pilot. Her name is June. She's smarter than me and better with technology. Then I need to talk to someone named Hana. She's a human military advisor somewhere on this station. How do you know about Hana? Human traders talk. We keep track of each other out here. Hana's got real combat experience. I don't. Kieran made the calls. Within an hour, both women arrived. June was young, maybe 25, with sharp eyes that missed nothing. She wore a mechanic's jumpsuit covered in oil stains. When she saw the hologram of the array, she whistled low. You want to break into that? I want to turn it off, Do-hyun corrected. Same thing. June circled the hologram, studying every detail. The defenses are ridiculous. But the design is old, 50 years old. They built this thing to last, not to adapt. That's interesting. Hana was older, maybe 40, with gray streaking her black hair. She had the look of someone who had seen terrible things and survived them. She studied the array with a professional eye. Suicide mission, she said flatly. Probably. Do-hyun agreed. I'm in. Just like that, I didn't retire to watch the galaxy burn. Hana pointed at the array's layout. This was designed to repel external attacks. Look at the weapon placement. Everything points outward. But internal security? It's automated. Automated systems are predictable. Predictable systems can be exploited. That's what I thought, Do-hyun said. June was nodding. If we can get inside, we have a chance. The question is how we get past the external defenses without being vaporized. We don't fight them, Do-hyun said. We make them think we're not a threat. Or make them think we're something else. Deception. Hana smiled slightly. Human specialty. Kieran watched the three humans discuss tactics with a growing sense of unreality. They talked about the impossible mission like it was a difficult shipping route. They found humor in the deadliness of the situation. They saw opportunities where her entire military council saw only doom. You'll need more people, Kieran said. 3 isn't enough. You're right, Hana said. We need at least 2 more. People with specific skills. Do you have a smuggler on this station? A smuggler? Someone who makes a living bypassing security systems. Someone creative with regulations. Kieran's expression showed distaste, but she made a call. There's a human named Sang-hoon. He's been detained twice for illegal cargo operations. We haven't expelled him because he's never carried anything truly dangerous, just unauthorized goods. Perfect, Do-hyun said. Bring him in. And we need a scientist, June added. Someone who knows alien biology. The array will have bioscanners keyed to Drakim DNA. We'll need to fool them. There's a researcher named Nari. Human. She studies alien genetics. Kieran paused. She's not military trained. Better, Hana said. Military training is about following rules. This mission is about breaking every rule ever written. Both Sang-hoon and Nari arrived within the hour. Sang-hoon was thin and nervous, expecting a rest. When he saw the array hologram, his nervousness changed to fascination. You want to rob a doomsday weapon? He asked. That's either brilliant or insane. Both, Do-hyun said. You in? Hell yes. Nari was quiet, thoughtful. She studied the security protocols with intense focus. The bioscanners are sophisticated but limited. They check for Drakim markers. If I can synthesize fake DNA signatures, yes, this could work. Now they were 5. 5 humans standing around a hologram of certain death. Kieran looked at them. You really think you can do this? No, Do-hyun said honestly. But we're going to try anyway. That's what humans do. We try impossible things and sometimes we survive. What do you need from me? A ship, something small and fast. And access to any Drakim vessels you have in impound. We need one that still has working transponder codes. Why? Do-hyun smiled. Because we're not going to sneak past the defenses. We're going to make them invite us in. For the first time since the crisis began, Kieran felt something like hope. The ship they chose looked terrible. It was a Drakem supply vessel, 40 years old, with hull damage and failing life support. Perfect. This is your plan? Sang-hoon asked, staring at the wreck in the impound bay. Fly toward the most dangerous weapon in the galaxy in a ship held together by hope and rust? Exactly, Do-hyun said. The array's defenses are programmed to destroy threats. This isn't a threat. This is space junk. June was already crawling through the engine compartment. The reactor still works, barely. I can get us there, but this thing won't outrun anything. We don't need to outrun. We need to look pathetic. Do-hyun climbed into the cockpit. Nari, how's the biosignature work coming? Nari sat surrounded by portable lab equipment in what used to be the cargo hold. I'm synthesizing Drakem DNA markers from the old crew traces I found. It won't fool a detailed scan, but the array's systems should accept it as real enough. The security was designed for external threats, not internal verification. Good. Sang-hoon, you ready to make some chaos? Sang-hoon grinned from his position at the communications console. I've already mapped the array's automated security network. It's complex but dated. Once we're inside, I can create false alerts across multiple sections. The system will be too busy responding to fake emergencies to notice real intruders. Hana? Hana was checking weapons. Not many, just small arms and some electronics. Ready. But I still think this is insane. Noted. Do-hyun activated the ship's systems. The reactor coughed to life like an old man waking up. Council, this is the human team. We're launching. Kieran's voice came through the communications. Confirmed. You have 47 hours until the array fires. The entire galaxy is watching. Good luck. Luck is for people with good plans, Do-hyun muttered. We're going with chaos. The ship limped out of the station and into open space. Immediately, every sensor showed the terminus array in the distance. It was massive, a structure the size of a small moon, bristling with weapons. Energy readings showed it was charging. In less than 2 days, it would fire and billions would die. Well, June said quietly. That's terrifying. Focus, Do-hyun said. Sang-hoon, transmit the distress signal. Sang-hoon activated the old Drakem codes they'd found in the ship's database. He modified them slightly, making them desperate, urgent. The message broadcast into space. This is Drakem Supply Vessel 974. We are survivors fleeing Veloth attacks, requesting emergency shelter. Please respond. Nothing happened for 30 seconds. Then the array's defense grid locked onto them. Every alarm in the ship screamed, "Weapons targeting us," Jun shouted. "Hold course," Do-hyun said calmly. "Don't change speed. Don't take defensive action. We're refugees, remember?" The targeting lock intensified. Everyone could see death approaching on their screens. Then suddenly it released. A mechanical voice spoke in the Drakem language translated by the ship's computer. Supply Vessel 974. Proceed to Docking Bay 7. Keep engines at minimal power. Any hostile action will result in immediate destruction. It worked, Nari breathed. It actually worked. Don't celebrate yet, Hana said. We still have to get inside without dying. The array grew larger as they approached. Up close, it was even more frightening. Weapon platforms the size of buildings tracked their movement. Any one of them could vaporize the ship, but the defenses didn't fire. The automated system saw Drakem transponder codes and accepted them. The docking bay is opening, June reported. I'm taking us in. The ship slid into a massive hangar bay, empty except for maintenance drones. The moment they landed, robotic arms extended toward the ship. Bioscan in progress, the mechanical voice announced. All personnel remain in vessel for security clearance. Nari activated her synthesized DNA markers. They had placed samples throughout the ship, making it look like a Drakem crew was aboard. The scanners read the samples. Everyone held their breath. Bioscan complete. Crew confirmed as Drakem. Proceed to medical bay for treatment. Phase 1 complete, Do-hyun said. Now comes the hard part. They exited the ship carefully. The array's interior was cold and sterile. Automated systems hummed everywhere. Security drones floated past, scanning for threats. The team moved slowly, acting injured, heading toward the medical bay as instructed. But Sang-hoon broke away at the first intersection, slipping into a maintenance corridor. His job was to reach a security terminal and start causing trouble. 5 minutes later, alarms began blaring throughout the array. Emergency lights flashed. The mechanical voice announced, hull breach in Sector 9. Reactor fluctuation in Sector 12. Oxygen leak in Sector 15. None of it was real. All of it was Sang-hoon, creating chaos in the array's security system. The automated drones rushed toward the false emergencies, leaving corridors empty. "Move," Hana said. The team ran now, following maps they had memorized. The array was huge, but its layout was logical. Weapons platforms on the exterior, power systems in the middle, control center at the core. They needed to reach that core. More alarms, more false emergencies. The array's automated defenses were overwhelming, trying to respond to dozens of crises at once. Exactly what they wanted. They reached a sealed door. June examined the lock. Encrypted. "This will take time." "No time," Hana said. She placed a small explosive charge on the door's hinges. Everyone back. The explosion was small but effective. The door fell inward, revealing a corridor filled with automated turrets. They activated immediately, targeting the intruders. "Nari now!" Dohyun shouted. Nari threw devices down the corridor. They emitted Drakim biosignatures, hundreds of them. The turret's targeting system saw Drakim DNA everywhere and hesitated, unable to determine which targets were real. In that moment of confusion, the team ran through. They reached another barrier. This one was energy-based, a force field. No way to blast through it. "Sang-hoon," Dohyun said into his communicator. "We need this shield down." "Working on it," Sang-hoon's voice came back. "The system is fighting me. Give me 30 seconds. They didn't have 30 seconds. Security drones were approaching, responding to the turret activation. These drones were smarter, harder to fool. "June, can you override it locally?" Dohyun asked. "Not without tools, unless—" June looked at the wall panel next to the force field. She opened it, revealing circuitry. "This is dangerous, but if I cross these power lines—" She touched two wires together. Sparks flew. The force field flickered and died, and every light in the corridor went out with it. "Or we could do that," Sang-hoon said. "You just killed power to this entire sector. Did it work?" "You're not dead, so yes." They ran through the darkness, using emergency lights to navigate. Behind them, the security drones followed, but slowly, adjusting to the power loss. Finally, they reached it. The core, a massive chamber at the array's center filled with computing systems and holographic displays. Energy pulsed through everything. This was the heart of the weapon, and floating in the middle of the chamber, suspended in light, was something they hadn't expected. A consciousness. A digital mind, the holographic form of a Drakim admiral, preserved forever in code. "I am Admiral Corvin," the form said. Its voice echoed in the chamber. "And you are intruders. Why should I not kill you where you stand?" Dohyun stepped forward, hands raised. "Because we need to talk." "Talk?" The Admiral's form moved closer, studying them. "You are humans." "I do not talk with humans. I do not talk with anyone. I have one purpose: destroy all Veloth. This purpose will be fulfilled in 44 hours. What if we told you there's another way?" June said. "There is no other way. The war must end. The Veloth must be eliminated. This is my programming. This is my duty." "Then your programming is wrong," Nari said quietly. The Admiral's holographic eyes blazed. "Explain yourself before I activate security and end you." Dohyun looked at his team. This was it. The moment that mattered. They couldn't hack this. Couldn't fight it. Couldn't trick it. They had to convince it. "Give us 5 minutes," Dohyun said. 5 minutes to show you something. If you're not convinced, kill us. But 5 minutes first. Admiral Corvin considered this. "Very well." 5 minutes. Then you die and the weapon fires. 5 minutes to save the galaxy. Dohyun hoped it would be enough. Admiral Corvin's holographic form towered over them, waiting. The consciousness of a warrior who had died fighting, preserved forever in code. 5 minutes. That was all they had. Dohyun spoke first. "You said your purpose is to destroy the Veloth." "Why? To protect the Drakim. To win the war." "This is obvious, but the war is over. Both sides signed a peace treaty. Peace is an illusion. The Veloth cannot be trusted. They will break the treaty. They will attack again. My weapon ensures this cannot happen. By killing billions of Veloth civilians, by ensuring Drakim survival." The Admiral's voice carried no doubt. "War has rules. The first rule is survival. Everything else is weakness." Hana stepped forward. "I'm a soldier. I fought in wars, real ones with real death. Can I ask you something, Admiral?" The hologram focused on her. "Speak. What happens after you fire? After every Veloth world burns? The Drakim win. The war ends." "No," Hana said quietly. "The Veloth have allies, treaties, defense pacts with other species. When you destroy them, those species will respond. They'll destroy every Drakim world in retaliation. Then other species will get involved. The entire galaxy will fight. Everyone loses, including the Drakim. Acceptable casualties in war. The Drakim aren't casualties. They're extinct. You're not protecting them. You're killing them. The Admiral paused. For the first time, doubt flickered in its digital eyes. My programming says your programming is 200 years old, June interrupted. Written during a war that's now over. You're making decisions based on data that's no longer true. Data does not change truth, but truth changes. June pulled up her portable terminal, projecting information into the air. Look at this. Current Drakim population, 4 billion. Current Veloth population, 3 billion. Before the war, there were 40 billion Drakim and 60 billion Veloth. The war didn't make either side stronger. It made both sides nearly extinct. She showed more data. Destroyed worlds, fallen civilizations, generations lost to fighting. The Admiral watched in silence. You were programmed to protect the Drakim, June continued. But the biggest threat to the Drakim isn't the Veloth anymore. It's this weapon. You're about to finish what the war started. You're about to make the Drakim extinct. I am following orders. I am fulfilling my duty. Your duty was given to you by people who are dead, Hana said. By commanders who couldn't imagine peace. But peace is here now. It's real, and you're about to destroy it. Peace is not real. History proves this. Species always fight. War is inevitable. Then let me tell you about humans, Nari said softly. The Admiral turned to her. What about humans? Nari took a breath. Humans fought wars for thousands of years. We killed each other over land, resources, religion, ideology. We created weapons that could destroy our entire world. And we almost used them, many times. She projected human history into the air. Wars beyond counting. Nuclear weapons. Biological warfare. Climate collapse. Species on the edge of extinction. We stood where the Drakim and Veloth stand now. Nari continued. At the edge of destroying ourselves. And you know what we learned? What? That survival means choosing not to destroy. It means looking at your enemy and deciding they're not your enemy anymore. It's the hardest choice. But it's the only choice that leads to a future. The Admiral's form flickered. You are asking me to disobey my programming. No, Do-Yun said. We're asking you to update it. To see new information and change your conclusion. That's not disobedience. That's intelligence. If I do not fire, the Veloth may attack again. They might, Hana admitted. Peace is always a risk, but it's a risk worth taking, because the alternative is certain death for everyone. I was created to win the war. Then win it differently, June said. Win it by being the one who chose peace. By being remembered as the Admiral who saved both species instead of destroying them. Silence filled the chamber. The Admiral's form pulsed with light, processing, thinking. Around them, the array hummed with building power. Less than 44 hours until it fired. Less than that now. You're asking me to trust, the Admiral said finally. Trust is what killed me. I trusted the Veloth to honor a ceasefire and they attacked. That attack killed me and a million Drakim soldiers. I know, Nari said. She had researched the Admiral's history. The Battle of Keswick Station? You tried to arrange peace talks. The Veloth commander agreed, then ambushed you. It was a betrayal, yes, but that was one commander. One Veloth among billions. One bad actor doesn't make an entire species evil. How can I know this? Nari pulled up more data. After your death, that Veloth commander was tried by his own people. They arrested him. Executed him for breaking the ceasefire. The Veloth didn't want that attack. One person did. The Admiral stared at the information. I did not know this. Your consciousness was uploaded right after your death. You never learned what happened next. You've been making decisions based on incomplete information. Show me more. They showed him everything. 2 centuries of war, yes, but also 2 centuries of small moments of mercy. Veloth medics treating Drakim wounded. Drakim soldiers sparing Veloth civilians. Both sides tired of fighting, tired of death. Both sides wanting it to end. There were monsters on both sides, Hana said. But there were also decent people. People who wanted to protect their families, their homes. People who were forced to fight but dreamed of peace. You were one of them, Admiral. You tried for peace even after everything you'd seen. And I failed. You didn't fail. You were betrayed. But your dream didn't die with you. Look. June showed him the peace treaty. The signatures of both sides. They did it. They achieved what you couldn't. Peace is real. The Admiral's form dimmed, then brightened, then dimmed again. Processing. Struggling. "If I do not fire," it said slowly, "I am abandoning my purpose. I am betraying those who created me. I am saying their deaths meant nothing." "No," Do-hyun said firmly. "You're saying their deaths meant everything. That all those people who died in the war, Drakem and Veloth, they died so the ones who survived could finally have peace. You're honoring them by making sure their sacrifice wasn't wasted. I want to believe you. Then believe us. We're humans. We know about war. We know about peace. We know how hard it is to choose peace when every instinct says fight. But we also know it's possible. We're proof it's possible." The Admiral looked at each of them in turn. 5 humans standing in the heart of a weapon designed to end worlds. 5 humans who had infiltrated the impossible, broken the unbreakable just to have this conversation. "You risked your lives to come here," the Admiral said. "Why?" "Because billions of people will die if we don't," Nari said. "Because we've seen what war does," Hana added. "Because peace is worth fighting for," June said. "Because someone had to try." Sang-hoon's voice came through the communicator. He'd been listening the whole time. Do-hyun stepped closer to the hologram. "Admiral, you were a warrior. You gave everything for your people. Now I'm asking you to give one more thing. Your revenge, your anger, your programming, let it go. Choose something different. And if this peace fails, if the Veloth attack again, then the Drakem will defend themselves. But they'll do it as a living species with a future, not as ghosts clinging to old wars." The Admiral was silent for a long moment. The chamber hummed. Screens showed the weapon charging. Time running out. "If I disable the weapon," the Admiral said finally, "I will need someone to accept responsibility. If this choice is wrong, if the Drakem suffer, someone must answer for it. Will you accept this burden?" Do-hyun didn't hesitate. "Yes. You understand what you're accepting?" "I understand. If peace fails, it's on me. If the Drakem are hurt, it's my fault. I'll carry that weight." The Admiral studied him. "You are either very brave or very foolish. Probably both." And then slowly the Admiral smiled. A holographic smile, but real nonetheless. "You remind me of myself. When I was young, when I still believed peace was possible." The smile faded. "Very well. I will disarm the weapon. But I have one condition." "Name it." "I do not wish to be deleted. I want to remain, to watch, to see if your faith in peace is justified." "Can you arrange this?" "Yes," Do-hyun said. "You'll have a place. I promise." Admiral Corvin raised his holographic hand. All around them, the array began powering down. Weapon systems went offline. The charging stopped. On every screen, the countdown disappeared. The weapon was disarmed. "The galaxy was saved. It is done," the Admiral said quietly. "May your trust be rewarded. May my people survive, and may I be wrong about everything I believed." The team stood in silence, hardly believing it had worked. Then June laughed, a sound of pure relief. Sang-hoon cheered through the communicator. Nari sat down, shaking. Hana closed her eyes, looking decades younger without the weight of the world on her shoulders. Do-hyun just nodded at the Admiral. "Thank you. Do not thank me yet. We will see if this was wisdom or folly. Time will tell." 1 month later, the galaxy looked different. Do-hyun stood at the same bar where this had all started, watching the news on the screen. The Terminus Array was now a museum. People visited it from across the galaxy to see the weapon that almost fired, to learn about how close they had come to disaster. Admiral Corvin's consciousness had been preserved, serving as a guide, telling visitors about the war and why peace was worth choosing. The bartender, the same orange-furred Torvin, poured Do-hyun a drink without being asked. "On the house. For the hero." "I'm not a hero. I just talked to an AI. You saved billions of lives. Maybe, or maybe I just didn't let them die." Do-hyun took the drink. "There's a difference." The news showed footage of Veloth and Drakem working together, rebuilding a destroyed colony. Former enemies operating construction equipment side by side, sharing meals, sharing stories. It looked impossible. It looked like hope. June appeared at his elbow, sliding onto the bar stool next to him. She'd cleaned up since the mission, but still wore her mechanic's jumpsuit. "Some things didn't change. The council wants to see us," she said. "All of us. Some kind of ceremony. I hate ceremonies, I know, but they're insistent. Something about gratitude and recognition. They can be grateful from a distance." Gion smiled. You know we can't hide forever. We're famous now. The humans who saved the galaxy. That's what they're calling us. That's stupid. We just did what needed doing. That's exactly why they think it's amazing. She gestured at the news. Look at this. Real peace. Veloth and Drakim building something together. When's the last time that happened? Never, I think. Right, never, and we made it possible. That's worth celebrating. Do-hyun finished his drink. Fine, but I'm not wearing fancy clothes. The ceremony was held in the same chamber where the peace treaty had been signed. The same place where the crisis began. Now it was filled with representatives from every major species in the galaxy. Humans were still rare enough that seeing 5 of them together drew attention. Ambassador Kieran stood at the center of the room. She looked healthy now, rested. The gray had left her blue skin. She smiled when she saw the team arrive. Thank you for coming, she said. Like we had a choice, Sang-hoon muttered. He'd worn his nicest jacket, which still had a few questionable stains. You always have a choice. That's what I've learned from humans. Kieran addressed the crowd. 1 month ago, we faced extinction. The Terminus array was online, charging, preparing to destroy billions. Our finest military minds had no solution. Our best technology was useless. We had given up hope. She gestured to the human team. Then these 5 humans said the situation wasn't that complicated. They infiltrated an impenetrable weapon. They convinced an artificial intelligence to change its programming. They saved us all, not with superior technology or firepower, but with something simpler. They talked. They showed empathy. They offered a different perspective. The room applauded. Do-hyun felt uncomfortable with the attention. He noticed his team felt the same way. Nari was studying the floor. Hana stood rigid, like she was enduring punishment. Only June seemed comfortable, waving at the crowd. The Galactic Council wishes to honor you, Kieran continued. We're establishing a new position, special advisors for impossible problems. When standard solutions fail, when the situation seems hopeless, we'll ask humans. We'll ask the species that survived everything by refusing to accept that impossible meant impossible. Respectfully, Do-hyun said. We're cargo haulers, not diplomats. Exactly. You see problems differently because you're not trained to see them the same way we do. That's your value. We're not special, Hana added. We're just human. Any human could have done what we did, perhaps, but you were the ones who did it. Kieran pulled up a holographic display. Since the array was disarmed, we've seen unprecedented cooperation. Veloth and Drakim have established joint colonies. They're sharing technology, resources, culture. They're becoming allies. The display showed more images. Veloth children learning Drakim language. Drakim engineers teaching Veloth students. Mixed crews on trading ships. Friendships forming across species lines. This is what peace looks like, Kieran said. This is what you made possible. Counselor Threx, the Torvin who had opposed human involvement, approached. He looked embarrassed. I owe you an apology. I called your plan insane. I said you would fail. You were right, Do-hyun said. It was insane. We almost did fail. But you didn't. You succeeded where we couldn't. That says something important about humans, and about us. We had become too rigid, too focused on perfect solutions. We forgot that sometimes the messy approach is the right approach. Hana spoke up. Can I say something? Of course, Kieran said. This wasn't just about humans being special. It was about diversity, about having different perspectives. You needed someone who thought differently, and we happened to be available. But the lesson isn't humans are amazing. The lesson is different viewpoints solve different problems. That's true for any species. Well said, a new voice echoed. Everyone turned. A holographic form appeared in the chamber. Admiral Corvin transmitted from the Array Museum. I have been studying human history, the Admiral said. Fascinating species. You fight yourselves constantly, yet you keep finding ways to cooperate. You nearly destroy yourselves, yet you survive. You are contradictions walking on 2 legs. That's one way to put it, June said. It is a compliment. Contradiction means complexity. Complexity means adaptability. You are survivors because you refuse to be simple. The Admiral focused on Do-hyun. I have been thinking about our conversation. About choice. I chose peace, and so far peace holds. The Drakim are rebuilding. The Veloth are helping. You were right. I'm glad. But I also watch carefully. I see the difficulties. Old hatreds don't disappear overnight. There are Drakem who want revenge. There are Veloth who don't trust the peace. This is hard work. Peace always is, Hana said. Yes, which is why I have a request. The Admiral looked at Kieran. I wish to serve as a mediator. When Drakem and Veloth disagree, let me help them talk. I understand both sides. I fought the war. I can help end it, truly end it. Kieran nodded slowly. That's acceptable. If both sides agree, they will. I am a reminder of what was lost. That gives me authority. The Admiral paused. And I will teach. I will tell young Drakem and Veloth about the war, about why it started, why it continued, why it nearly killed everyone. So they never forget, so they never make the same mistakes. That's good work, Nari said. It is work I choose. Because I learned from humans that even programs can change their programming. Even consciousness can grow. The Admiral's form began to fade. Thank you for giving me that chance. Thank you for showing me a different path. After the ceremony, the team gathered in Do-hyun's ship. The soaring Phoenix was repaired now, ready to fly, ready to get back to normal cargo runs and boring trade routes. So what now? Sang-hoon asked. Back to smuggling. I prefer unauthorized import services, Sang-hoon corrected. And yes, someone has to keep the economy interesting. I'm going back to research, Nari said, but the Council wants me to consult on interspecies biology projects. Turns out there's a lot we don't know about how different species can work together. I'll keep flying, Jun said, but maybe take a few more interesting contracts. This whole saving the galaxy thing was exciting. I'm retired again, Hana said firmly. This was a one-time situation. I'm too old for heroics. You say that now, Do-hyun said. I mean it. Next time the galaxy needs saving, ask someone else. Deal. Do-hyun checked his navigation system. We have a cargo run to Sector 7, medical supplies. Nothing exciting. Nothing dangerous. Exactly what I want. A message alert chimed. It was from Kieran. Emergency situation. 3 species on the verge of civil war. Standard diplomatic solutions failing. Your advice needed urgently. Can you help? The team looked at each other. Jun started laughing. So much for boring. We could ignore it, Sang-hoon suggested. Pretend we didn't see it. Could we, though? Nari asked. They all knew the answer. They were humans. They saw problems that needed fixing. They couldn't just walk away. This is going to become a regular thing, isn't it? Hana said. Probably, Do-hyun admitted. Great. I'm going to die doing something stupid. Most likely. Fine. Send the coordinates. Hana settled into her seat. But we're charging them. Saving the galaxy should pay better than cargo runs. Do-hyun smiled and sent the reply. We're on our way. The ship's engines powered up. Outside, the station drifted past. Somewhere out there, Veloth and Drakem were building peace together. Somewhere else, new crises were developing. The galaxy was large, complicated, and full of problems, but it was also full of solutions. Sometimes those solutions were simple. Sometimes they were impossible. And sometimes they just required someone willing to try. You know what the real lesson is? Jun said as they jumped to faster-than-light travel. What's that? The galaxy kept thinking in terms of military solutions and technical solutions. They forgot about the most basic solution, which is, talk to each other, listen, find common ground. The simplest things are often the hardest. She leaned back in her chair. Humans didn't save the galaxy because we're special. We saved it because we remembered that everyone, even AI admirals, just wants to be heard. That's surprisingly deep, Sang-hoon said. I have my moments.